Good evening. I'm your host, Lorraine, and welcome to the podcast Off by 1 Degree. Tonight we're going to talk about mass shooting in Maine. There's breaking news right now that Robert Card, 40-year-old Robert Card, was found in his home. As of right now, he's surrounded, and the authorities are trying to get him to come out with his hands up. Um, so hopefully we'll get a resolution to this incident pretty soon. There's no one else in the home. He's by himself. This is a military trained man who specializes in weapons and is a marksman, teaches weaponry. Um, it's been said that within the last 6 months, he's been experienced mental illness and has been having difficulties. So last night, early evening, Mr. Card entered a bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine, and shot people there, and then proceeded down the road, not too far, about 4 miles down the road to a bar to shoot more people. There, as of this time, there are 18 dead, 13 injured, 5 in stable condition, 3 in critical condition at Maine Medical Center. Anybody who wants to come in and talk about this, you're welcome. It's crazy. It's close to home, and I wrote close to home because I have family up there in Maine, not too far from Lewiston. I've had people check in saying they're safe, established themselves as safe. The police in the Auburn area had a shelter-in-place warning, and from what I can tell, pretty much everyone was doing that. This man was considered armed and dangerous. We don't know exactly what prompted this or what's going on exactly in this man's history or past or what's been going on to cause him to perform such a horrendous act. Our hearts at my home and in my family and my friends, our hearts go out to all the victims and the families that have been impacted. The owners of the bowling alley were there and helped rescue people, get them out the back door safely. The bar owner, sadly, one of the workers at the bar was shot doing the same thing, trying to grabbed a knife and tried to protect the customers from the assailant. It's a tragedy. Words cannot describe the terror and the fear and the aftermath and the impact on the community. Anyone familiar with Maine or the small towns in Maine realize that everyone relies on everyone else. Everyone works together. Their winters are harsh. They are hardworking people, and the community, the sense of community, is just very, very close. To look at the man, I have in front of me on my phone a picture of the man. I'll show it to you because I haven't quite learned how to upload. There you are. That's William Card. Robert Card. I'm sorry, Robert. He looks like your average Joe, your average man. You just never know. You never know when someone's going through a hard time. I know Maine has a system in place, yellow flag and red flag, where if someone owns rifles and guns and is experienced some sort of mental crisis or mental emergency, that they're separated from their guns. And that wasn't done. Not that he couldn't have had hidden guns other places anyway. Usually military and people hunt and whatever. They have guns pretty much all over the place, to protect their home, to go hunting, to target shoot. He was a gun instructor. He would have had ammunition and guns available to him 24 hours a day. So it would be near to impossible to confiscate all of his guns. We here at Off by One Degree, we support the Second Amendment right. My family own guns. I don't, but my family owns guns, and yeah. But we don't own assault rifles. We don't own semi-automatic rifles or handguns. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think they're necessary. I wouldn't want to face. I have run into bears, but I really wouldn't want to run into a bear without a heavy loaded gun. A large caliber ammunition. The wildlife in Maine is very prevalent, and they get into the communities. The bears get into the trash. The moose are in your backyard. There wasn't a time when I was at my brother's farm in Maine that I hadn't run into a moose or a bear or wildlife. It was always prevalent, and especially now with hunting season. Yeah. I was hoping someone would come up, but I don't see anyone so far. I didn't put out any invitations for people to come up and discuss this subject. But anyway, so as of this time, the police are having a standoff outside the suspect's home. They will employ or deploy or bring in negotiators. Hopefully, we'll talk him out peacefully. We can only pray and hope for a peaceful resolution to this, so due justice can happen, so it can be investigated, so we can learn and grow from situations like this. What more we can do to encourage mental health awareness, and so maybe this won't be a reoccurring thing. So 18 dead, 13 injured. In a year in Maine, there's usually around 22 deaths in 1 year. So 18 dead in one night is astronomical numbers. Maine is not a high crime state. It's not crazy up there. I mean, yeah. They're crazy up there because I used to live up there, so I can vouch for a little crazy. But all kidding aside, seriously, people care about people up there. People care about each other, and like I said, like Alaska, like any of the northern states that border Canada, and that the winters are really rough, and they have to rely on each other. I guess I had one person here, and now they're not. So yeah, so there's got to be some reason why this middle-aged man who lives, if I'm looking at the newscast from Fox Maine Live now, in Bowdoin, Maine. Bowdoin, Maine is Bowdoin, Maine. I haven't been there, but I've been Lewis, Auburn, and around those areas. Or gone shopping. It's a great community. It looks like a nice area. It looks like a nice house. It doesn't look like this man would do anything but be your neighbor and go to work and come home and be okay. That thing, what appearances are deceiving. Appearances are deceiving. You never know what's going on in someone's head. So, like I said, this is the suspect, now confirmed. He does have charges of murder. He looks like an average man, your average Joe. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to throw someone over the edge. It could be anything. It could be very, very minuscule thing. I'd be guessing that he would have PTSD. I would be guessing at what might have prompted this act, but it was reported that he was having mental illness issues for the last 6 months. So I just wanted to come on here and introduce my new podcast and bring you up to date that the authorities have surrounded the house and they're asking him to walk out with his hands up. I guess that's the breaking news for now, and I might come on later on when I get a little bit more comfortable with this, and bring you more updates as the night goes on. Well, anyone tuning in, I want to thank you for checking me out, and please stay tuned for other content. My content will be anything and everything that's mysterious and makes you think. True crime, things out of the ordinary, things that are off by 1 degree. Well, thank you and have a good evening.